Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. We welcome you to Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. We are assembled here at the Claire Sonnenfeld Auditorium for the conferment of honorary doctoral degrees. It is now my great pleasure to invite the honorees of the honorary doctorate to enter the hall and come up to the podium. Professor Harvey V. Feinberg, USA. Professor Erwin Kotler, Canada. Professor Valerie Mizrahi, South Africa. Professor Jeffrey D. Ullman, USA. Professor Sylvia Torres-Peimbert, Mexico. Ernest Scheller, Jr., USA. Kindly be seated, ladies and gentlemen. I would now like to call upon the president of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, Professor Rivka Karmi, to address the assembly.
Chairman of the Board of Governors, Chairman of the Executive Committee, Deans, distinguished honorees, President of the Supreme Court of Israel, Mr. Aaron Barak, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is my great privilege to welcome you this evening to a ceremony which every year allows us to reflect upon the extraordinary achievements of a small group of individuals. These are all people who value higher learning, who value justice, who cross borders in their work for mankind, and who make a real difference in this world of ours. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we in higher education face an increasing number of voices calling for the boycott of Israeli universities. Academic freedom has long supported the notion that dialogue with our peers throughout the world is a fundamental value to be promoted no matter what policies our governments adopt. Indeed, faculty members have traditionally seen that as one of higher education's founding principles. But this core belief is being eroded. The movement to boycott, sanction, and divest from Israel is waging a campaign on campuses and in professional associations worldwide to make Israeli universities, their faculty and students, the only exception to the principle that has been universally honored. Although I'm glad to say that we do not face a crisis of real depth, no significant institution of higher education or learning or academic organization has yet endorsed this distorted call. Nevertheless, I'm conscious of the insidious harm being done and of the under-the-radar effect of this unbalanced, yet well-organized and funded voice. How many grants have Israeli scientists not received? How many Israeli academics have not been invited to participate in conferences? These are impossible to measure or quantify, and all the more sinister as a result. The individuals we have chosen to honor here this evening have made profound and enduring contribution to academia, each in their own way and in their own field. They come to Ben-Gurion University of the Negev in the state of Israel this evening from the US, from Canada, from South Africa, and from Mexico. And I compare them now as we welcome them warmly to BGU family to join us in the battle for balanced debate, for truth and integrity, and most of all, for continued academic cooperation across borders. Our mission is to educate the future decision makers, scientists, scholars, educators, and leaders of Israel. We work hard to create an environment that encourages critical thinking together with social conscience. And we are proud of our graduates who go out into the world with much more than facts and figures, determined to do well and make a difference. Our honorees are outstanding role models, every one of them, and I'm delighted that each has made a long journey to be with us. I hope that they will take home a sense of the energy, creativity, and caring that characterizes the Ben-Gurion University. And I also hope that our students will be inspired by their personal stories and achievements. Professor Irwin Kotler is a leader in the struggle against impunity and for the development of international humanitarian law. A long-time advocate in the international struggle against racism and discrimination of any kind, he was the forefront of the international struggle against apartheid, as well as the architect of legal remedies against racism in Canada and beyond, both in his capacity as Minister of Justice and formerly as legal counsel for national and international NGOs. He has been engaged both as a scholar and participant observer in the search for peace in the Middle East. He has lectured in both Arab countries and Israel for over 30 years. He has been an active participant in rapprochement dialogues between Israeli and Palestinians. Professor Kotler, thank you for honoring us this evening. Professor Harvey Feinberg is the president of the Institute of Medicine, the health arm of the National Academy of Sciences in the US. His academic career began at Harvard, and his research has focused on policy development and implementation, assessment of medical technology, evaluation and use of vaccines, and dissemination of medical innovations. In other words, Dr. Feinberg is at the forefront of modern public health, and indeed, his groundbreaking work in the field led to the award of the Calderon Prize in 2011, the highest prize in this discipline. His work influenced decision makers across the globe, and we are delighted to welcome him to Ben-Gurion University family and grateful that he has taken time to be with us tonight. Thank you, Dr. Feinberg. Professor Valerie Mizrahi was born and raised in Zimbabwe. Following her education, she worked in research and development for a major pharmacological company. In 1989, she established and still directing a research unit at the South African Center for Medical Research focusing on the treatment of tuberculosis. Professor Mizrahi is currently leading the University of Cape Town branch of Center for Excellence in Biomedical TB Research. A much decorated scientist, her laboratory aims to contribute to the discovery of new drugs for TB by understanding mechanisms of metabolic flexibility and identifying metabolic vulnerabilities in this formidable human pathogen. Professor Mizrahi has a long list of distinguished prizes, including the L'Oreal UNESCO Award for Women in Science. For any young woman scientist, Professor Mizrahi must surely be an inspiration, an outstanding researcher, and teacher, the woman whose work has benefited mankind. I welcome her here this evening. Thank you very much, Professor Mizrahi. Ernest Scheller, Ernie to me, is a prominent business leader and philanthropist in Philadelphia, and he and his wife, Roberta, has been involved with the American Associates, Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, for over 20 years now. Ernie's philanthropy at BGU spans nanotechnology, management, and the overseas students program, whilst his reputation as a man of vision and leader is well established within the American Friends of BGU in the USA. He has taken his passion and partnership with BGU forward by inspiring his beloved daughter Lisa, now president of the family business, and her husband Wayne Woodman, a new member of the AABGU's National Board and the mastermind behind our wonderful Zinn Fellow program. Roberta, Lisa, and Wayne are all with us tonight as we thank Ernie and welcome him into the family of Ben-Gurion University Honorary Doctorate recipient. Thank you. Professor Sylvia Torres-Peimbert was born in Mexico City. She is another outstanding role model for all young women interested in science and drawn to academic research. She studies physics at the National Autonomous University of Mexico before going on to the University of California in Berkeley and returning to her alma mater in Mexico. Today, she is Professor Emeritus at the Institute of Astronomy, Mexico City University, and since 2009, she's been coordinator of physical, mathematical, and engineering science at the university. Professor Torres-Peimbert has co-authored about 200 technical papers analyzing the chemical evolution of stars, galaxies, and universe at large. Her long list of prestigious awards also include the 2011 L'Oreal UNESCO Award for Women in Science. We had the privilege to hear her this afternoon, and actually it was yesterday, I think, and we are honored to have her here this evening. Thank you so much, Professor Torres-Peimbert. Professor Jeffrey Ullman is a professor of engineering in the Department of Computer Science at Stanford University. Professor Ullman was elected to the National Academy of Engineering in 1989 and has held the Guggenheim and Einstein Fellowships. He is the winner of several prestigious awards and the author of 14 books. Back in the mid-80s, he ran the NAIL project, which developed many of the fundamental ideas behind deductive databases that are now being widely used. Ullman's research interests include database theory, data integration, data mining, and education using the information infrastructure. He's one of the founders of the field of database theory and was a doctoral advisor of an entire generation of students who later became leading database theorists in their own right. He was the PhD advisor of Sergey Brin, one of the co-founders of Google, and served on Google's technical advisory board. We are honored to count him amongst our very good friends, and tonight I'm especially delighted to honor you, Professor Jeffrey Ullman, the scientist. In Proverbs chapter 4, we read, "Wisdom is of utmost importance, therefore get wisdom, and with all your effort, work to acquire understanding." All of the people being honored this evening have sought wisdom, supported it, and have used it for the good of mankind. Dear honorees, your action accomplishments are inspiration for us all here, and you are perfect role models for our students. We are proud and delighted to have you join our family of distinguished honorary doctorates, and we all look forward to welcoming you on many future occasions to Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Professor Karmi. I would now like to invite Professor Tzvi HaKohen, Rector of the University, to address you.
Thank you. Mr. Alex Goren, Chairman of the Board of Governors, Mr. Asher Khaled, Chairman of the Executive Committee, Professor Rivka Karmi, President of the University, Professor Aaron Barak, former President of the Supreme Court of Israel, members of the Board of Governors, honorees, deans, faculty, students, and guests. To an outsider, the academic system of a university seems like an hierarchical system. There are department chairs, deans, and a rector above. However, the faculty, who are technically employees of the university, are rather independent. When asked what is the role of a rector, I sometimes say a shepherd, but not of sheep or cattle, but of cats. As a matter of fact, the role of a rector is more like that of a director of a cemetery. There are thousands of people beneath him, but nobody listens to him. As you can understand, a rector cannot be a dictator. The way to lead and make the faculty follow is by providing role models whose lives and actions show vision, leadership, and excellence. That is why we award each year to a very few distinguished individuals the title of Doctor Honoris Causa. Honorary degrees, higher education's most prestigious recognition, are reserved for eminent individuals with national or international reputation. Recipients are typically leading scholars, discoverers, inventors, authors, artists, musicians, entrepreneurs, social activists, and leaders in politics or government from all walks of life whose values and achievements exemplify the mission and ideals of the university. We choose those individuals who have shown leadership and brought about changes bettering the life of people. We look for those whose personalities and career make them role models for faculty as well as management. And we reward those that have been so generous to us, giving us what it takes to build this beautiful campus. Each year, Ben-Gurion University of the Negev is proud to bring in a distinguished few from all over the world and honor them with this prestigious award in recognition of their deeds for science, culture, and humanity. This ceremony enables us also to look at the awardees as role models and beacons of wisdom, illuminating our paths, and we will strive for further accomplishment and excellence. A few years ago, in his honorary doctorate acceptance speech, President Nelson Mandela said, "In Ben-Gurion University of the Negev, we have a center of excellence which represents the best traditions of the Jewish people, a sense of mission, internationalization, inventiveness. It is an institution that gives inspiration through its chosen mission, summed up in the words of the prophecy, 'The desert shall rejoice and blossom as a rose.'" Our university is called Ben-Gurion University of the Negev. The name reflects our deep commitment to the development of the Negev, to its preservation, and to the advancement of the people who live in the desert. Whenever possible, we try to convert the disadvantages of the Negev, the things that make it poor, into advantages that will make it prosper. The shortage of water caused by limited abundance of rain means fewer clouds and therefore more light. This enables us to explore the potential of microalgae as a source of biofuel and valuable chemicals on the one hand, and solar energy on the other hand. The increased salinity of the soil have shown to result in sweeter tomatoes and fruits. The university is doing its best to close the gap between the Negev's population and that of the center of Israel. The education of the Bedouins of the Negev is quite poor, and yet we have graduated many male as well as female Bedouins MD. Furthermore, we already have several Bedouin professors among our faculty. The commitment to take the extra step and implement our findings is exemplified by our success in establishing a high-tech park adjacent to the university that is already offering lucrative positions to our graduates, enabling them to stay in the Negev and attract many high-tech companies to the area. In the next few years, all the technology-intensive units of the IDF will move to this park and to its immediate neighborhood, essentially making BGU the leading technological university in Israel and in several areas among the leaders in the entire world. However, in the quest for being the best, we have not forgotten to be the mouth of the South. For all these tasks, we look for role models whose exemplary life achievements will encourage us to reach even higher summits. Today's honorees are women and men whose life and actions inspire us all to do better, to reach higher, and to build a great university that would indeed fulfill David Ben-Gurion's dream of Oxford and Yavne on the Tzin. Thank you very much for accepting the title of Doctor Honoris Causa from our university.
The university honors Professor Harvey V. Feinberg and confers upon him an honorary doctorate.
I'm Harvey Feinberg, president of the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation. I spent most of my life and career at Harvard University. I was an undergraduate and graduate student, a fellow, a junior professor, a senior professor, a dean, and then provost. As president of the Moore Foundation, what excites me is its focus on basic science, basic research, on environmental conservation, which is so important, and on improving the experience and outcomes of patient care, which is obviously close to my heart. I've always loved music. I love to play music. Occasionally I compose a little bit of music, but I'm quite confident that the world has not lost a great composer in my choice of medicine and public health as a career. Public health looks at the whole population, it emphasizes prevention, and its main tools are dealing sometimes with the biological and sometimes with the social elements that enable people to live healthier lives. As a doctor, I love the opportunity to take care of individual patients. There's a special relationship you have with your patients that's unlike anything else. At the same time, I came to realize that individual patients, one at a time, was not a path to really improving the health of a whole population. That's what attracted me to public health. When I hear word of a new outbreak or of people needlessly suffering and dying, I realize how much more there is yet to do to achieve the health that everyone deserves and that we as a society are capable of delivering, if only we have the will.
I call upon Professor Harvey V. Feinberg to please rise and approach the podium. I invite the president of the university and the rector to rise and join the honoree. The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Professor Harvey V. Feinberg with appreciation for a preeminent visionary and scientist dedicated to advancing public health worldwide, in recognition of a multidisciplinary scholar whose studies of medical decision-making and health policy have made a lasting global impact, in admiration for his tireless efforts to increase awareness of the importance of immunization and preventive care, with respect for an educator and physician who has held important academic positions at Harvard University, trained generations of doctors and researchers, led the US Institute of Medicine, and consulted to the World Health Organization. With esteem for a distinguished leader, honored with the Frank A. Calderon Prize in Public Health, for his devotion to promoting transformative scientific discoveries, preserving the environment, and seeking to improve patient care as president of the Gordon and Betty Moore Foundation. And in gratitude for his profound commitment to human rights and his contributions to the most noble cause of preventing disease and improving the quality of life for people around the world, by conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. University honors Professor Erwin Kotler and confers upon him an honorary doctorate.
I am Erwin Kotler. I recently retired as a Member of Parliament after 16 years in the Canadian Parliament, and presently a Professor of Law Emeritus at McGill University in Montreal. It was my father who taught me at a very young age, when he said to me that tzedek tzedek tirdof, pursuing justice, as he put it, was equal to all the other commandments combined. Just as when I was first sworn in as a Minister of Justice and Attorney General, I repeated that I will be guided in my work, as I put it, by one overarching principle. And I said, that of tzedek tzedek tirdof. What gives me hope and happiness when I look at the world, which is one that very often seems so bereft of hope and happiness, are the people I meet in different parts of the world who are putting not only their livelihood, but indeed their lives on the line in the struggle for democracy and human rights and freedom. Kutzak Tanat Shanat Ha'olam, a small group can change the world. This is a historic picture. I wouldn't want to lose it. I don't know how to do it with this phone. In fact, I don't know if this phone, in fact, even takes such a picture, so I'm going to need your help. Yeah, I think if I had a message, it's not to remain indifferent. Stand up against injustice. Make sure that every day you do something to advance the cause of justice. I have hope that at the end of the day, the struggle for justice and human rights will be won.
I call upon Professor Erwin Kotler to please rise and come forward to the center of the stage. I invite the President of the University and the Rector to join him, and invite the former President of the Supreme Court of Israel, Professor Aaron Barak. The Senate and the Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Professor Erwin Kotler in recognition of an illustrious legal scholar who has dedicated himself to upholding justice and protecting the rights of all people. With admiration for the chairman of the Raoul Wallenberg Center for Human Rights for his struggle against oppression wherever it may be found. With appreciation for an advocate of liberty, for his relentless endeavors on behalf of political prisoners and all those denied their freedom of speech, who has been extensively recognized for his work. With the utmost respect for a visionary leader who during his tenure as Canada's Minister of Justice and Attorney General led groundbreaking legislation in aid of the struggle against racism and hate and transformed the Canadian judicial system into an exemplar of equality. In gratitude to a true friend of the State of Israel, whose actions embody all that is good and noble in the humanistic values of Judaism, and with esteem for a peacemaker who has worked tirelessly to attain equality for all, regardless of ethnicity, gender, and sexual orientation, and has, as a result, made the world a better place. By conferring upon him the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Thank you all, and thank you, Professor Bell. The university honors Professor Valerie Mizrahi and confers upon her an honorary doctorate.
I'm Valerie Mizrahi. I am a professor at the University of Cape Town, where I direct the Institute of Infectious Disease and Molecular Medicine. I work on tuberculosis. I run a research unit that studies fundamental aspects about the biology of the organism that causes TB. We are dealing globally with about 9 million new cases of tuberculosis every single year. And in addition to that, 1.7 million people die of TB each year. That's a person dying of TB every 20 seconds. And so I'm particularly proud of the work that we've done on DNA metabolism in TB. We defined and discovered a system that the bacterium can use to induce mutations that lead to drug resistance. Discovered this in TB, and that was subsequently shown to be widely distributed through nature. I'm really proud of that work. Some of the things that I enjoy doing, I absolutely love listening to music. I used to play the guitar when I was younger, but I don't do that anymore. I'm an absolute fanatic with movies, and when I travel a lot, I spend the entire flight catching up on movies that I haven't seen. And I live in Cape Town, which is a beautiful city, and I really enjoy walking on the beachfront, especially if I can do it with my kids, who I don't see very often. In terms of where my field is moving in the future, I think that we're at an exciting pivot point in the field of TB research. I wouldn't be in this field if I wasn't hopeful and optimistic, but I do think one needs a healthy dose of realism. So this is a very, very tough disease to take.
I call upon Professor Valerie Mizrahi to please rise and come to the center of the stage, and invite the President and the Rector to join her. The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Professor Valerie Mizrahi as a mark of esteem for a distinguished and honored scientist who has made the battle against tuberculosis her life's work. In acknowledgement of her extensive research in the fields of biochemistry and molecular biology, leading to important discoveries which are paving the way to new treatments for the disease that has claimed the lives of so many in Africa and around the world. In admiration for a respected member of prestigious academic societies who's provided leadership and vision while heading the Institute of Infectious Disease and Molecular Medicine at the University of Cape Town, and made invaluable contributions toward advancing research and medicine in developing countries. With deep gratitude for her inspiring commitment to raising awareness of tuberculosis and fighting the prejudices surrounding the disease, as well as the hope she's given to those suffering from it. And in appreciation of the dedication and passion driving her efforts to reduce global inequality and make advanced medical care accessible to all, by conferring upon her the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. much. We will now have a musical interlude and we'll hear Imagine, music and lyrics by John Lennon.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below. Above us only sky. Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries. It isn't hard to do. Nothing to kill or die for, and no religion too. Imagine all the people living life in peace. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possession. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. Brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. You may say that I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one.
Thank you so much for that moving performance. We will now continue with the conferring of the honorary degrees. The university honors Professor Jeffrey D. Ullman and confers upon him an honorary doctorate.
I'm Jeff Ullman. I'm a retired professor of computer science here at Stanford. I have been living here with my wife Holly since 1979. I have been teaching computer science essentially all of my adult life. I have been involved in a number of different fields, but most recently I've been doing database systems research, what's now often called big data. I always have felt that my contribution was in the books that I wrote and how it influenced young people to do great work of their own. Many of them have gone on to do greater things than I've ever done. I have to mention Sergey Brin, who was, of course, one of the two founders of Google, who was my student at Stanford. I retired at the end of 2002. Still hang around Stanford quite a bit. My pride and joy is the tomato plants that I have gotten to grow. See, I come from New Jersey, and in New Jersey everybody grows tomatoes. It's not a great tomato growing country here, but I've had a pretty decent harvest last year, and I'm looking forward to these two. We're looking forward to eating them. If I had a message, it would be that computer science has become something like the ability to write. That is, the ability to program is now what the ability to write was 100 years ago. No matter what it is you're doing, you need to be able to write programs and use the computer effectively.
I call upon Professor Jeffrey D. Ullman to please rise and come to the center of the stage and invite the President and the Rector to join him. The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Professor Jeffrey D. Ullman in honor of a brilliant and world-renowned scientist who's made an indelible mark on the field of computer sciences, in admiration for an influential researcher who laid the foundations for database theory and the theory of automata and formal languages, whose groundbreaking work has helped shape new fields of inquiry and opened up new horizons for conceptualizing and applying computer sciences for his successors. In gratitude for his definitive textbooks, seminal masterpieces which revolutionized the field and were the basis for educating the first generation of computer scientists around the world. In appreciation of an honored and decorated scholar, a member of the American Academy of Arts and Sciences and the National Academy of Engineering, and mentor to many cohorts of students at Stanford University, many of whom are now well known in their own right, thereby shaping the future of the field. And in deep respect for the commitment and drive guiding his efforts to enhance education, develop data infrastructure, and expand the boundaries of human knowledge, by conferring upon him the degree of Dr. Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. University honors Professor Sylvia Torres-Peimbert and confers upon her an honorary doctorate.
I am Sylvia Torres-Peimbert. I am an astronomer and I work at the University of Mexico and the Universidad Nacional Autónoma de México. My main research has been the study of gaseous nebulae. These are hot gases around hot stars. I must say that I love astronomy. I really enjoy all the activities related to astronomy. I enjoy doing my work. I enjoy teaching, to share my happiness, my enjoyment, the discoveries that are around. Is there life out there? That's a question we always ask ourselves, and we don't know. But I suspect there must be life out there because there are many opportunities for it to have developed. There are many planets around many stars in many galaxies. So I am sure there must be life out there. However, I'm not sure if we will find it. When I'm at home, I enjoy very much sewing, and I do some of my clothes. Not this one. This one is bought. I've been married now for more than 53 years. My husband and I have studied together and have been in the field for many years. On the same field, we have collaborated, which is very nice, very fruitful, but sometimes it can be very tiring to do the same thing at home. We would like to think that we can colonize another planet. We have only this planet, and we have to take care of it. It's our responsibility to diminish pollution and to stop wars so that we can continue living on it, and our children and the children of our children.
I call upon Professor Silvia Torres-Peimbert to rise and approach the center of the stage and ask the President and the Rector to join her. The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Professor Silvia Torres-Peimbert in recognition of an illustrious astronomer whose discoveries have extended the boundaries of knowledge and transformed our understanding of the cosmos. With admiration for her profound analyses of the composition of nebulae and the chemical evolution of galaxies, illuminating the beginnings of the universe and contributing invaluable insights about the formation of stars and their processes of decay. In appreciation of a brilliant scientist, recipient of numerous prestigious awards, including the 2012 Beta Prize, and a respected member of international scientific associations. With gratitude to a dedicated educator who has shaped generations of students, served as an inspiring role model, and taken on leadership roles in academia in her home country, Mexico, and abroad. And with profound esteem for the first Latin American woman to serve as the President of the International Astronomical Union, for her overall contributions to science and culture for the benefit of all humankind, by conferring upon her the degree of Doctor Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. The university honors Mr. Ernest Scheller, Jr. and confers upon him an honorary doctorate.
I'm Ernie Scheller. I was born in 1929 during the Roaring '20s. I married Roberta Scheller in 1954. And we've been married now 62 years. Silverline does primarily special effect metallic pigments. The company started with my father, a part-time secretary, one full-time production employee, and I came in after school to do the laboratory work. From that little garage, we now have 5 factories, around 700 employees scattered throughout the world. I feel that I've been a very lucky guy, and I wanted to give back. I think the best way to give back is through the education of younger people. On a tour of Israel, we happened to come to Beersheba and Ave Braverman took Roberta and I on a tour of the university. I was intrigued. I wanted to help Israel, and I thought the best way I could do that was to support Ben-Gurion University in Beersheba. I have 3 sports in which I'm interested. I enjoy golf, fly fishing, and skiing. My idea for success is perseverance and innovation. You've got to stick with it. You might fail once, you might fail twice, but you've got to persevere if you think that you're right. I was brought up in a home where religion was not important, even though my parents both were Jewish. When I had an opportunity to be bar mitzvahed at the age of 86, I took that opportunity. I don't think there are too many people who Ben-Gurion confers an honorary degree in the same year that they've had their bar mitzvah. I think I might be a little unique in that situation.
I call upon Mr. Ernest Scheller, Jr. to please come to the center of the stage, and the President and the Rector to please join him. The Senate and Executive Committee of Ben-Gurion University of the Negev hereby resolve to honor Ernest Scheller, Jr. in acknowledgement of a distinguished industrialist and magnanimous philanthropist, a paragon of commitment to the greater good, in recognition of a man who steered the pigment manufacturing firm founded by his father to prosperity and worldwide success, generously lends his support to budding entrepreneurs and supports the growth of industry. With appreciation for an involved and prominent member of the Jewish community in Pennsylvania, who unstintingly lends his energy to innumerable social organizations and causes, including culture, arts, and higher education. In gratitude to a true friend, a valued member of the Ben-Gurion Society and Living Legacy Society, for his involvement in the university's Board of Governors and its American associates. With admiration for his generous support of research in the fields of nanotechnology and management at the university, and for his special interest in international students. In profound appreciation of a passionate Zionist and a compassionate benefactor for his deep commitment to the advancement of education throughout the State of Israel and the Negev in particular, by conferring upon him the degree of Dr. Philosophiae Honoris Causa with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto. Thank you, Professor Karmi, Professor Cohen. Ladies and gentlemen, that brings our proceedings to an end. We ask you to please rise for Hatikva, the national anthem.
Fateh